I have a very limited exposure to things on the lab side. And it was kind of funny because I was thinking to myself as we were chatting about it, for some reason in my mind, I felt like I was separating the yeast handling
Mm.
side of it. I don't even know if the other part is, but I think in my mind, like probably like spoilage organisms.
Hmm.
And then I was wondering, well, how do other things fit in? So like whether or not we're talking about process derived diacetyl
Hmm.
acetaldehyde. So to me, it seems like there's a couple of different buckets. And as I was getting ready have this chat with you, I was realizing that I was just kind of thinking of like essentially plating things. Like
Hmm.
I don't know why that's what, but I guess it didn't dawn on me that it's going to kind of be those range of things. So can you
Hmm.
talk to a little bit of like the scope of what you do?
Yeah, so I always say, the microbiological side, making sure nothing's growing in the beer that shouldn't be. And then the other aspect of quality control is making sure your beer is consistent every time. So if you're a newer brewery or just starting out, you can have variations in your batches. And sometimes the customer will like that. They're like, oh, okay, I had it this time. I liked this one a little bit better and getting that feedback. But if you're a larger brewer, if you're Sierra Nevada, you
Yeah.
want that pale ale to be the same every single time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a combination of, the micro, making sure nothing's growing that can cause off flavors, and then keeping your alcohol content, your bitterness, your color, making sure diacetyl isn't present, making sure those things are consistent with every single batch.
What is a typical day like for you? So if you have, let's just look at it not from the business owner standpoint, but just from the lab standpoint. What's a day in the life, a typical shift in the lab?
I would say that day to day can be totally different. It's kind of like on a weekly structure
Hmm.
where if I'm getting samples from a brewery, I'll need to make plates.
Hmm.
I'm pretty micro heavy with a lot of the tests I do for breweries.
Okay.
So making sure I have plates made ahead of time. And then some of the plates only have 5 days until they expire. So
Okay.
kind of coordinating that. So usually by like Wednesday, I'm making a set of plates, making a set of tubes, doing some plating on Thursday and Friday, and then kind of a spattering of, okay, this person wants alcohol, this person wants a VDK run. So that's
Yep.
kind of the nice thing about the lab side, that it's not the same every day. It's
Yeah.
always going to be mixed up. And then kind of from the business owner side, I go and pick up samples from
Sure.
breweries. So that's kind of a nice aspect too, to get me out there, to get me talking to the brewers, see what they've
Hmm.
got going on. So it's kind of, yeah, I never know what I'm really going to get most days. It's a good mix.
Do you feel like it's ever part lab work and part sales?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely that was something that I had to learn and grow into, was
Hmm.
the sales aspect. But I love it now. It's really so fun. And now that I'm getting more, back into Buffalo, getting to know these brewers, going to guild meetings, Pink Boots meetings, it's like, oh, you're my buddies and I want to help you out and I want to help your beer. So if you have an issue, let's chat about it. Things like that.
Well, and I do think so. They used to say, I don't know if people still say this because it might not be true anymore, but people used to say that the industry is 99% asshole free. Have you ever
Yeah,
heard anybody say that before?
for sure.
I don't know if that still stands, or if it was true back when I was here, said for the first time. But I do think something that I do think it's definitely an industry where people value personal connection,
Hmm.
and I think people value when you are genuine with
Yes.
them, right?
Yeah. And I
Right.
think that's what's kind of helped me with Instagram,
Hmm.
and kind of like what you were saying in the beginning, making it educational but also fun, because
Yes.
it's beer. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's a great group of people, we're doing something that we all enjoy drinking.
Yeah.
So, having that balance there, and especially coming from the academic side, be a
Yeah.
little more stuffy. And I've worked in, academic labs that were really fun and good groups, but the stress level, was very
Sure.
different. So that's what I really love about the brewing industry. It's pretty laid back. And yeah, everyone's so interesting and different, all their
Sure.
different backgrounds. I like diving into that with people.
When you have people coming from different angles too, because you have people that are very much of like the artistic or the
Hmm.
culinary bent, and you
Yes.
have some people who are, really hardcore, like from the engineering standpoint.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then the science side of it, and yeah, there's definitely all sorts.
Oh, yeah. And I really, the engineering side, I think I've learned a lot from those particular brewers. The
Hmm.
ones that have that really technical engineering background and then want to optimize the brewing system and things like that. Those are the ones that I kind of, from a science side,
Hmm.
gravitate towards. But also, some of my favorite brewers I've worked with, they have been more of the artistic, recipe development.
Yeah,
And it's like, how did you come up with this beer? It's like, well, I don't know. I just did a little of this, little of that, and it was good.
sure,
It's like
sure.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.